welcome. Align, breathe, connect. It's always time for your best you. You know me, I'm the Reverend Dr. Kathleen Fennedy. We call me Reverend Dr. Kat now, I guess, but I'm here with my co-host today. It's a pleasure to have Joan Kaczmarzyk with me today.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Thanks, Joan, for coming on. I mean, you've been on with this TV show that I've started last year, and you've been coming on
Yes.
occasionally, and we were doing the last show, the Halloween segment, and you came on in your alter persona.
Yes.
Good witch.
My good witch persona, yes.
So
Yeah, we had
I
a good time with Halloween.
Yeah, we had a good time, and we brought some of the Halloween tea along with us again today. But today we're working with chakras 6 and 7, and as you know from the previous shows, those are in the color of the indigos and violets.
Yep.
So we have a little indigo and violet here today, and some holiday glitter and a holiday tree. It's the holiday season. Holy holiday, that's all I gotta say. I mean, you know, it's getting heftier and heftier, and
yes,
I oftentimes think that we're really forgetting what the holiday season is all about. It starts to become such a hustle bustle of decorating and buying and frenzies, and we forget that, you know, this is about really love and light and gratitude and communion and our presence with one another, and how we handle our change of the season to the new year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you know.
And presence mean presence, not presence.
Exactly, but we love the play on the words.
Of course we do, yeah,
because
of course.
we want to be able to get our presence too.
Yes.
But it totally depends upon who we are and our presence.
Yes.
And I think this time of the year, let's just be honest, it's right after on the heels of all that candy from Halloween. The kids are in school, everything's starting to get crunched. The final quarter in the business world is coming up.
Yep.
And you know, tax season is right around the corner, and we're trying to crunch in all the holidays, and everybody's getting on planes and flying, and there's a lot of stress.
There is.
So I thought today, because we've talked about it before, and I've also had you do a little bit, we might do a little bit of how we de-stress in simple ways, even if it's on a plane. You just taking the time to close your eyes and disconnect from the rest of what's going on. And if you have, as we've said in the past, the crystals, or some form of
crystals, music, whatever.
Anything that's acceptable that you can use in a public setting that
Yeah.
isn't going to be offensive to anyone else. I wanted to say some of the aromatherapy, but I found
Sometimes
on
that can
planes,
be,
even on planes, that can be very offensive to someone. You think, oh, lavender isn't going to hurt, but for someone else in a closed quarter, it can be really tough.
Yep.
So the crystals become great, as we know.
Exactly.
And we brought a crystal Christmas tree in to celebrate. It's not just the Christmas time, but the Hanukkah and the Kwanzaa, you know, and the New Year.
Yep.
And this tree is just basically a little birch tree.
Yes.
And it's got little crystals hanging on it. But
And
just
lights,
something
just
that you
something
can even think of Patanjali's 8-limbed tree for yoga, right?
Yeah.
Because yoga, I've said it before, everyone thinks it's about the asana and about standing and putting on the tight yoga pants and doing your yoga postures. But in all honesty, the Bhakti yoga is really about your devotion and how you represent your devotion. Could be in, you know, loving service. So yoga sometimes gets pigeoned into this standing and putting on the postures, but there's more than that, so much more than that. And so, you know, even I talk about the cleansing, you know, doing your cleansing rituals, that's part of the 8 limbs of the Patanjali's yoga tree. So here we have a little holiday tree. And it's always nice to be able to have our presence and our presence under it. But, you know, I don't want us to forget what the holidays are all about, because it gets squeezed into so much.
Yeah.
And we forget that it's really about sharing love and light. And last show when we were talking, if you remember, I was going to go right into the solfeggio frequencies.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, but we ran out of time.
Yes, we did.
So I thought I'd open since we're here together with a little bit of that sense of the sound, because everything is vibration and the frequencies really do matter. We have so many different ways that we can work with sound. And so Nikola Tesla, well, you know, is someone that I've looked at throughout time and looked and seen what happened and the knowledge that Nicholas had. But he said if you only knew the magnificence of 369, then you would have the key to the universe. The number is 369, 963. Those are all the love vibrational frequencies. And so if you're interested in the solfeggio frequencies and you want to learn about music and the healing quality of music, you can just Google it and go on the YouTube and you'll find tons of different solfeggio frequency musics, and you'll see that it actually, you can change the binary beats, you can heal the body, you can change the mind-body connection. So, you know, we are bombarded with that alternate frequency on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Think about going into a store right now just to pick up a little something.
Yeah.
The bombardment of the sounds. And so we get very stressed. And one of the best ways is just to stop. You know, plug in something that's a different type of vibrational frequency that you know is connected to the solfeggios. Because if you get into the other frequency, you're right back into that mass frequency, which is going to bombard the brain with chaos. All right, so just to be fun, I had to bring in my little Celtic, Kindling the Celtic Spirit book.
One of your favorites.
Well, yeah. But I was just thinking about music, and they said, if you are with 2 or more people, I see there's 2 here.
Yep.
Sing the Yule round. Okay. The year is turning toward the light. The Yule logs burning to roll back night, and we're discerning a promise bright. The year is turning towards the light, the Yule logs burning to roll back night, and we're discerning a promise bright. And they would sing this little song in the rounds, like row, row, row your boat. So everyone knows that when we sing our little songs, whether it's a lullaby to the babies, or we're upset and we want to start chanting the Om sound, we know that this does change our how we're feeling. So we could be very, very nervous and very, very angry and very frustrated. You could be in a car, you could be in a line, anywhere. And what can you do?
You can even sing to yourself. You can just think of the music. Even if you just kind of go to yourself.
What if you're standing in a line, everybody's looking at you?
Just do it in your mind. Or you may be one of those that says, I don't care if anybody looks. I'm just going to do this because I need to do this.
Just stand and start doing an Om.
Yeah. Even just very quietly.
Mm-hmm. Because that is the sound of and the sign for peace, peace on earth. Let us be peaceful and kind to one another.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you ever done it?
Not in a line, but I've had times where at work, I've gotten, you know, I have a very stressful job, and I've had to take a break and maybe go in the back and just take a moment.
Om out.
And Om out.
Right, Om out.
Just get away from the phones, get away from all the stuff, all the stress, all the craziness, and just tune out for a minute. Just tune that all out. And
So
come
what
back to
happens now
center.
when we're sitting at the Thanksgiving table and everybody's there? Now, I know that you, Miss Joan Kaczmarzyk, you're not in that environment, but let's just relate to the audience and the people that are in a different environment. You're sitting in your room with your sled dogs, pretty much, having your turkey off of the backyard grill.
Yeah.
But in many environments, they fly in from all over.
Oh, I know it. And that can be, it can be a lot of fun, or it can be total chaos, depending on how your family tends to relate, you know. It all depends.
So what would you tell someone to do in a situation if they're in a family setting for Thanksgiving? As Good Witch Joan Kaczmarzyk, what would be your counsel to just...
My counsel would be to go in there with a positive attitude, and by having that, You're going to exude that, and you can actually change the environment around you.
There you go. So we're phasing it in.
We're phasing it in.
This is the new phrase. We're phasing in everything. We're phasing in organics. We're phasing in love and light.
Love and light.
But but it is true, because one person's energy can totally change the energy of the rest of the space. And if you're carrying, say, for example, a nice crystal, quartz with you, clear crystal quartz, solanite maybe, the whitest, brightest
who of us
light,
doesn't?
the whitest, brightest light that's been activated.
Yeah.
No, next we've done crystal grids, I've had the show where we activated the crystal grid.
Yep.
But next season we'll do another crystal grid. This would have been a great table to do a crystal grid on.
Yeah.
And if you haven't done a crystal grid, you can check out the Two Old Broad show, because we've got a huge crystal grid that I made on that show, and we activated it with the sled dogs.
Yes.
And I think I even talked about how to cleanse your crystals and through the moon cycles.
Yeah.
But we can definitely do that again.
Oh, that would be great.
How do you feel, like maybe some tea or something? You thinking about that?
Sure.
But yeah, it's definitely about the sounds. And even something as simple as a little will change the sound of everything that's happening. It's up to us individually to be able to recognize the chaos that's around and how to temper it. And it's not easy. I don't ever want to come across as saying, oh, this is all cakewalk, guys.
No, it's not.
And gals. It is a daily practice. And once you get to a certain level of whatever you want to call, like, oh, I think I found my bliss spot or whatever, it's going to be tested. Because there's always going to be room for the evolution of the human soul to be able to handle more and more of this. What would we call it? Positive love and light frequency.
Yeah.
I mean, our generation, even with you scoffed me when I first came back to Connecticut. Let's be real. We're on those top chakras.
Yep.
And it took you a couple years before you came around. In the meantime, I had to go through the Kat don't know what she's talking about. But it's funny because, you do get to see, and I was able to share, and then eventually, as you said, one person can come into a space and change the space.
Yeah.
But it does take time. So as I was there and changing the space, and Joan's been gracious and let me stay after the journey that I went through, to regroup and get my books published and do the things that I want to do that are important to me, but because of certain circumstances, I had some obstacles with the health. So,
That's for sure.
Yeah, but, again, it has to do with, being able to be present for one another, and then at the same time, once you get to a certain level, you're going to have the obstacles. Like, I come back from the West, thinking, oh, yeah, this could be so easy to transfer this knowledge. It wasn't. It wasn't easy at all. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of resistance. So if you're the one in the family who's trying to phase in something that's a little different, like now you've got your crystal, or you've evolved up and you're practicing Reiki, or you're doing something else, and you're in a setting where everyone's having Jim Beam and going crazy on each other, it can be very challenging for that particular individual to maintain their Om Namah Shivaya space.
Right. But what you have to do is just keep your space too.
Or evacuate is what I say.
One or the other,
Go hug a tree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're usually in somebody's yard, and you can walk out, and there's some kids and some animals, and you could just disconnect.
Disconnect from the chaos.
Totally disconnect.
Because like I said, I've learned how to do that.
Regroup.
Regroup, and then be able to come back.
Right, with the right attitude.
Yep.
Again, of a gratitude and a humble spirit, because the evolution of everyone is happening on different levels. And just because someone you love isn't at that same space where you are, the love overrides that.
Yeah.
Love sees past that and says, it's okay, I'm here.
Yep. I have crystals on my desk. Mm-hmm. And I know.
Because I'm the one who got that going with you. It's the funniest thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've had patients ask about them. You
Yeah,
know,
they gravitate towards it
oh,
because
yeah, they
they're
do.
beautiful energy flowers of love
Exactly.
and
They're
light.
like, they look at that because it's totally different than anyone else's space.
Yes.
And they'll ask questions, and we've had some very interesting conversations.
Well, yeah, and
that
crystals.
came on about
Crystals are you can infuse them and you
Yes.
can carry them. And I know I'm always watching I've got Tyler, blessed Tyler, and we've got Joe is in the camera room. You know, I'm with the Nutmeg TV. It's always such a blessing to be here and
Yeah,
have
it
a
is.
space to be able to be part of a group and share, share our ideas and what we've created together as artists in the community. But yeah, so then we go into, the various different holidays because we've got the Hanukkah, we've got the Kwanzaa, we've got the Christmas, then we've got the New Year's.
Right.
Then what happens?
Then there's like nothing.
Honestly, I've watched this over year. Everyone gets like up,
And then it's
up,
crash and burn.
And then it's like drop down into the darkest,
Yeah.
depressive energy force for like until what? Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to be like a puppet on a holiday string. Holy
No.
holidays,
Oh my
folks,
gosh.
come on. So it's like, how do we temper in between the rush of what the societal creations are, which are
Yeah.
designed for us to have holidays and pleasure and time off, except now, the shopping for Christmas and, we get
And,
squeezed.
yeah, right,
It's
yeah,
just-
they get squeezed.
This year it's
they
squeezed
get-
more because Thanksgiving is later.
Yeah.
And then Christmas seems sooner. And then on top of it, we have solstice.
Yeah.
And so we just came through, the changing of the clocks, and now,
Right, and now we're
the
gonna
sun
have
and the day are going to hit that moment where, again,
Where
it's a
it's the long-
perfect moment for balance. Because right now, when we are sitting here on this date, which I believe is November 20th,
Yes, it is.
the Venus and Jupiter are conjunct, and Mercury's coming back forward. So everything that was, about conversations and things that had been in the retrograde, it's just think of like an ocean. When the tide goes out, it pulls everything from the earth out. But when the tide comes back, it brings everything back and drops it right
Yeah.
there.
Yes, it does.
And then the tide pulls it out. So that's kind of like Mercury is a messenger of our ability to communicate effectively. And so we're blessed this particular season because Mercury's coming forward just at the time when we're going to be sitting at the table. So
Yeah.
conversation should be planetarily a little bit easier this season, don't
Yeah,
you think?
I would think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know,
With
I
that
think-
happening,
Yeah.
if we can really understand the cosmic connection of the planets to what's going on here on Earth and the movement, then yeah. Did you want to lead in a little breath meditation, Joan, today?
No, I'll let you lead.
You're going to let me lead?
Sure. But I'll join you.
Well, all I know is here's that little song. Oh yeah, here's the old Scottish ritual. I think I was reading this before. Toss the sprigs of holly or rowan of anything that's available into the fire as a symbolic way to burn away any bad feelings between family, friends, or neighbors. So, a lot of times the ritual of just writing, even if it's a Christmas wish, make it like a Christmas goal. We have New Year's goals.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to go anywhere, do they?
No, they don't.
So maybe try switch it up this year. Release things that you're having a struggle with instead of going to the person and saying, I don't like that you do this. Put it on a piece of paper. We did this with the crystals, if you remember. We did messages,
Yes,
and
we
we
did.
put it
Underneath
the crystals.
yeah.
But you can put anything that you're trying to release, you can use it with the full moon, new moon passageways that we've talked about before, and you can release things through the energy. Thoughts matter. So we can, before you walk in a room, as Joan was saying, frame it positively. Look, you may not get along with everybody in that room. Just because, it's family doesn't mean it's family.
Right.
A lot of biologicals, a lot of people are born into a family and they're like, I don't belong with this.
Yeah.
How am I here?
Right.
Why am I here? And who are these people? But they're your bloodline.
Right.
But nobody likes each other or even has anything in common.
Right.
So go figure, what's that all about? I don't know, maybe that forces us out of our family structures. Maybe that's part of the evolution. Because I was watching a show about the Egyptians the other day.
Okay.
Okay, and it was King Tut's tomb.
Yep.
And they're going, wow, these people got so intense about family, they were mating with one another because they wanted to keep that family structure so tight, they ended up polluting the entire family bloodline and getting with these diseases because of the interbreeding of the family sense.
Yep.
So family is this kind of concept of like, wow, what's that about? You're not supposed to do certain things with your family.
No, you're not.
Okay. So, you're not always everything isn't going to be hunky-dory.
No, it's
not everybody wants to eat turkey dark meat.
Right.
And we used to have the tofudu. And I don't think that tofudu turkey's around anymore, is it?
I hope not.
All right.
Actually, I think they had that on an episode of Chopped recently.
Okay, so here's the thing. We say to do this, which is just go someplace where you can sit by yourself and just close your eyes, because that's the first thing, is to be able to shut things out. I like to wear eye masks. I also like to wear earmuffs. I like to wear hats. Close the crown chakra. We're in, 6 and 7, so, indigo violet. This is your connection to the source. This is the third eye. This is the place where you can go deep into your meditation. When you close your eyes, you shut out. When you close your ears, you shut it out. When you close the crown, you keep everything contained. When you can get into that space and start to breathe on the count of 3, inhaling in on a 3-part breath, consciously counting that until you can fill your entire body with the breath of the 3. Remember what Nicola said about 3, 6, 9. And then releasing on 6. Now, this is not something, a normal breath count that you would hear in a yoga class, because they don't do 3 6s. I do 3 6s. And I've been doing 3 6s for decades, and it works. And you can see that your entire blood pressure and your change, and it's just a count of 3 inhaling and 6 releasing, and bringing it right up through the entire body as the belly fills, the ribs expand, right up to the throat, and then holding that for a half of a second. And then on the releasing, you can release with your mouth, but if you don't want to make any sounds, and if you ate garlic like I did this morning, you might not want to do that. So you can release through your nose, but on a slow count of 6. And you'll find that 3, 6, which automatically becomes 9, is an extremely magical, if we want to use that word. Some people are offended, but it's a cosmic number. It will connect you to a pulse, and you will start to notice a difference. Try it, I guarantee it. I know you were going to do something today, and I don't know what happened, Good Witch, but you just seemed to like you just sat there stiff, and you were going to do some breath work for everybody.
Oh, I was breathing with you.
Well, okay.
I was breathing with you.
I'm going to have a little taste of our lovely tea. What are you having there today? Did you pour your tea in?
Yep, I did. I'm having a bit of green tea today.
Well, I would say to a lovely holiday season, thank you so much for coming on. This is the final show for this season. And we'll be back next season.
Yes, we will.
With some crystal grids, and maybe I can get us to move a little bit more, because we don't. It does depend upon having our good camera crew and everything.
Yeah.
Because once I stand up, I'm a tall drink.
Yeah.
And if I get from here and I start to stand,
right,
you're going to lose me out of the camera. So I stay in my chair.
Yep, that's
and
why
have
I
my
even,
little warm cup of love and light. And remember, you just do an take yourself into the backyard. Don't let it get to you. Don't stress it out. It's just the darn holidays. My daddy used to say to me, they come every year. It's just Thanksgiving. Don't put so much energy into something that, you could do any day of the year.
Yep.
But we've, made it this way. So align. Breathe, connect, right?
Absolutely.
And then, of
And
course, we're always
balance.
going around, going around a balance is vital.
Yeah.
Love you. Thanks for coming, Joan.
Thank you for having me, Kat.
We'll see you next season.
Oh, yeah.
Be blessed. See you soon. Bye.